Have you ever felt like you're surrounded by an invisible cloud of misfortune? Like no matter how hard you try, your efforts keep collapsing. Doors remain closed and opportunities slip through your fingers? Maybe it's not just bad luck. Maybe it's something deeper, something spiritual. In Islam, every hardship has meaning, and every closed door could be a test, a signal, or even a mercy in disguise. But sometimes we unknowingly block Barakah, the divine flow of blessings, through the state of our heart, our sleep, or our connection to Allah. Tonight, I want to show you something simple, something you can do before bed, a symbolic act rooted in centuries of spiritual practice. You don't have to pray all night. You don't have to recite long du'as. Just put something under your pillow before sleep and watch how the unseen begins to shift in your favor. This isn't superstition. It's a call to reconnect. A quiet, powerful habit that's been practiced by many, from the early Muslims to people today who've seen real, life-changing results. Have you ever felt like nothing you do brings barakah? There might be a reason deeper than what you see. Stay till the end. I'll reveal what you should put under your pillow to invite blessings effortlessly. Have you ever tried any spiritual practice before sleeping? Share your experience. What happened? The concept of barakah and bad luck in Islam. Barakah is not simply more. It's divine increase, a hidden blessing that makes little things stretch. Time, money, peace, even breath. You could earn a little, yet feel deeply content. Or do a small deed, yet see immense rewards in your life. That's barakah. So what about bad luck? In Islam, the idea of random misfortune doesn't really exist. Everything, good or bad, is within Allah's knowledge and decree. What we often call bad luck may actually be a test meant to strengthen us, a consequence, gently reminding us of sin, or a signal pointing toward a deeper misalignment with our faith. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah 2286, Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. Even when life feels cursed, this verse reminds us, it's not punishment. It might be purification. If you feel like doors are constantly closing, maybe it's not about luck. Maybe it's about barakah being withheld. Sometimes our homes lack dhikr, our hearts lack gratitude, our tongues speak more of stress than sabr. Sometimes what we call bad luck is a divine mirror showing us what needs cleansing in our lives. You're not being abandoned. You're being asked to pause, reflect, and realign. In the next part of this video, we'll explore how a simple act before sleep can become your turning point. Do you believe barakah can disappear from someone's life? What do you think causes it? Real, modern-day story. Let me tell you a real story, one that still circulates quietly through spiritual circles in Cairo. A young woman named Samira had graduated with honors in architecture. Fluent in English and French, with a stunning portfolio and letters of recommendation. But for over a year, she faced constant rejection. Applications unanswered, interviews that went nowhere. It was as if a dark cloud was hanging over her plans. She began to call it bad luck. But her grandmother, a woman of deep iman, suggested something else. Maybe your soul is asking to be seen by Allah before the world sees your CV. Her grandmother told her to begin a nightly routine. Read Surah Al-Mulk every night before sleeping, and place her Qur'an, the same one she used as a child, gently under her pillow. With nothing left to lose, Samira began the practice. No dramatic du'as, no endless prayers. Just her reciting Surah Al-Mulk, eyes wet with quiet hope, followed by placing the Qur'an under her pillow with the intention, Ya Allah, guide my path even in my sleep. She did this consistently for 40 nights. On the 41st morning, she received an email from a firm in Istanbul that had seen her profile months ago but somehow missed replying.
They not only offered her a job, they offered to cover her relocation. She said, "It wasn't just a job. Everything in my life shifted. I started waking up lighter even before the offer came." She didn't chase the world. She invited divine alignment. She cleansed her energy, and blessings followed. Real stories, real impact. This woman didn't pray for success. She invited it by changing her spiritual state. This isn't magic. It's about showing up for your own soul, trusting that when you reconnect with the Qur'an, Allah begins to reconnect the world around you. Have you or someone you know experienced a sudden turn of events after a spiritual act? Tell us. Your story might inspire someone tonight. Quranic story, Prophet Yusuf, us, from prison to palace.
If anyone could be labeled unlucky, it would be Prophet Yusuf, us. From the very beginning, his life was filled with betrayal, injustice, and abandonment. As a child, he was thrown into a well by his own brothers, the very people meant to protect him. Later, he was sold into slavery, wrongfully accused of a crime he didn't commit, and left to rot in prison for years. From the outside, it looked like misfortune followed him. But in the eyes of Allah, every step was part of a divine plan. In the Qur'an, Surah Yusuf 12:19-100, paints a powerful picture of spiritual endurance. Yusuf never lost his connection with Allah. He remained patient, chaste, truthful, even while he was forgotten in a dark, lonely cell. And then, the shift came. From a prisoner, he was raised to a position of influence in the royal court. He became a trusted advisor to the king, overseeing the country's economic affairs and saving Egypt from famine. The same people who betrayed him, they eventually stood before him, not knowing who he was, needing help. And instead of revenge, Yusuf, us, showed mercy and grace. This story isn't just about a prophet, it's about you. Your life might feel like it's spiraling, unfair, out of control, but Allah is never unaware. Sometimes your greatest detours are your most direct paths to Barakah. When the world turns its back, Allah may be turning you toward your destiny. Yusuf didn't need to fight, argue, or demand justice. He just remained spiritually aligned, and Allah elevated him from the bottom of a well to the heights of a palace. Never mistake delay for denial. In every hardship, there's a seed of divine preparation. What is your favorite moment from the story of Prophet Yusuf, us? How does it inspire you? The symbolic act, what to put under your pillow. Now let's reveal what you can place under your pillow to invite Barakah into your nights and your life. It's simple. A small copy of the Qur'an or a folded piece of paper with a specific verse like Ayat al-Kursi, Surah al-Baqarah 255, Surah al-Mulk 67, Surah al-Falaq 113, and Surah an-Nas 114. Why this? Because sleep is not just rest, it's a sacred state. In Surah Az-Zumar 39:42, Allah says, "It is Allah who takes the souls at the time of their death, and those that do not die during their sleep. Every night, your soul leaves you, and not every soul returns." So placing the word of Allah close to your head, to your thoughts, and to your dreams is not superstition. It's spiritual symbolism. It says, "Even in my most vulnerable state, Ya Allah, I remember you." This act has no magical formula, but it has deep spiritual power. It gently trains the soul to stay connected, to feel the Qur'an not just as words recited, but as a presence that guards and blesses your sleep. Many have found that this simple practice, done with sincerity, brings a sense of peace, protection, and even clarity in decisions and dreams. This is not superstition. This is symbolism. A call to remember Allah even in your dreams. Tonight, try it.
Let your pillow carry not just your worries, but also your remembrance of Allah. Would you try putting a specific verse under your pillow tonight? Which one would you choose and why? The science pulse spiritual sync. What if I told you that science is finally catching up to what the Qur'an has always pointed toward? Modern psychology confirms this. Your final thoughts before sleep shape your subconscious. The brain continues to process emotions, memories, and beliefs while you rest, especially the last thing you focus on. It becomes the foundation for your next day's mood, energy, and decision-making. That means your bedtime routine is sacred ground. Now, think of placing a small Qur'an or a verse like Ayat al-Kursi or Surah al-Mulk under your pillow. You're not just symbolizing closeness to Allah, you're programming your mind to align with Him. In Islam, we believe in niyyah, intention. Even before prayer, intention defines the deed. When you go to sleep with a niyyah of connection, protection, or renewal, and you place a sign of that beneath your head, you're blending the power of the mind with the guidance of revelation. This is where neuroscience and spirituality shake hands. By physically anchoring the Qur'an close to you during the most subconscious hours of your life, you invite peace, clarity, and unseen guidance into your inner world. When your last thought is divine, your morning will be aligned. This small act turns sleep, something passive, into something deeply intentional and transformative. Try it for 7 nights. Track your dreams, your clarity, your energy. You might find the shift you've been waiting for is already within you. It just needed permission to rise. Do you agree that spiritual practices affect our psychology? Share a time when this worked for you. Real story from today's world. Refugee camp resilience. In the middle of the chaos, dust, and sorrow of a Syrian refugee camp near the Turkish border, volunteers met a young boy named Ayman. Only 9 years old, he had already lost more than most of us could imagine. Both of his parents, his home, and the stability of a childhood. His tent was made from scraps. His shoes didn't match. He barely spoke. But there was something about him. One night, a volunteer noticed that Ayman, before laying down on his thin mat, reached beneath a worn, folded cloth and pulled out a torn page of the Qur'an. It was Surah al-Inshirah. Carefully, reverently, he kissed it, whispered something under his breath, and slid it under his pillow. Then he slept. He did this every single night. When asked why, he said, "Because it's the only thing I have from my father. He told me that this would protect my heart when everything else is gone." Despite his grief and his unimaginable loss, volunteers said he was the most peaceful child in the camp, never bitter, always smiling. Ayman would often comfort others when the food ran out or when the rain soaked through the tents. His secret? Faith. A single verse. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah al-Inshirah 94:6, tucked beneath his pillow, close to his head, even closer to his heart. This boy had no wealth, no future on paper. Yet he carried himself like someone who had everything. Why? Because he hadn't lost his connection with Allah. Even when the world gives nothing, faith gives everything. This story isn't shared to romanticize pain. It's to show that when all is stripped away, what remains, what sustains, is what's real, the word of Allah. If a child in a refugee camp can find strength this way, imagine what's possible for us, with so much more at our fingertips. Have you witnessed someone hold on to faith in extreme circumstances? Tell their story here. Practical guide, how to do it. Now that you understand the depth behind this act, here's how to start. Choose your verse. Select a powerful, meaningful ayah. Some of the most spiritually impactful are Ayat al-Kursi 2255,
Surah Al-Mulk 67, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah An-Nas 113 and 114. Or any verse that speaks to your current struggle. Write it down. Use a clean piece of paper. Write the verse with care and intention. Even printing it works, but treat it with reverence. Set your niyyah, intention. Before sleeping, say, Ya Allah, I place your words near my head to draw your guidance into my heart. Grant me barakah, clarity, and protection as I rest. Place it under your pillow, right where you lay your head. Do this every night for 7 to 40 days with sincerity and consistency. Observe and reflect. Keep a small journal beside your bed. Write how you feel when you wake. You might notice small shifts in mood, in dreams, in decision-making. Consistency brings transformation. Try it for 7 nights and journal the results. This is your moment to realign, not with the world, but with the one who controls it. Are you going to try this tonight? Let me know, and I'll make a dua for your success. Caution: avoiding superstition. Let's be clear. This practice isn't magic. It's not about the object under your pillow. It's about your intention, your niyyah, and your connection to the Qur'an. The Qur'an isn't a charm. It's guidance. Placing it beneath your pillow doesn't cause blessings by itself. Barakah comes only from Allah, not from actions that lack heart or understanding. Islam warns us against attaching power to rituals. The Prophet taught us that actions are judged by intentions, not mechanics. So don't idolize the method. Embrace the meaning. When you remember Allah with sincerity, He responds with mercy. Not because of what you placed under your pillow, but because of what you placed in your heart. Tools are just tools. The source is always Allah. What do you think is the difference between spiritual symbolism and superstition? Let's discuss below. Before we end, let's return to the heart of this message. Hardship is not punishment. In Islam, it's often a divine invitation, a chance to pause, reflect, and realign. Allah doesn't test us out of anger, but out of love and wisdom. What feels like delay or bad luck may be the exact redirection your soul needs. In these quiet moments before sleep, when the world grows still and your soul drifts toward the unseen, that's your chance to reconnect. End your day not in stress, but in Dhikr, remembrance. Let a verse of the Qur'an be the last thing you touch and think of. Let barakah flow where anxiety once lived. You don't need fancy rituals or perfect words. All you need is this. You don't need perfect prayers to receive blessings, just a soft heart and sincere intention. So tonight, as you lie down, whisper this dua with me. From your heart, in whatever state you're in.